Hey, Bougie Gang, what's going on? I'm sorry, I had to take a call. Portia's at the doctor, so they were calling to give me my report. Hey, everybody. Yes, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Let me put my little turkey down in the corner. Did I download the Thanksgiving overlays? No, I did not. Oh, well. Sorry, I was going to try to be festive, but I guess not. Okay. Um, I didn't download the festive turkeys on this profile. It might be on my other profile, but it's okay. We'll be all right. Um, my bad. My bad. They just called me about Portia. Portia had a physical today and she's doing well. They said to come pick her up at 2:45. So that's that on that. What's everybody doing? What's everybody eating for lunch? It's lunchtime. We haven't done a lunchtime, I feel like, in a minute. I don't even know how long it's been. I'm going to be honest. I feel like last week, I don't even remember last week. I know last week happened, but as far as like the details, baby, I can't even tell you. Um no, I can't. I'm trying to think back right now and it's like it's a blur. Um Girl, grilled chicken salad. That sounds so good. I had a Premier Protein. It took me a while to drink it. Um Sushi bake? What is that? Sussy bake? Oh, is it sussy bake? Is it sushi bake maybe? Sussy bake with seaweed chips. Farrah loves seaweed chips. Gosh, let me put tuna on my. Why did that just make me think of tuna? Bible lady, that conversation on Love Lies and Lace Fronts this morning was sending me. I'm just like, oh my god. Okay, so tuna, my bad. Um, Anybody in the middle of is anyone I'm sure most of you guys are hosting Thanksgiving. Is anybody getting to go and just get dressed and go sit at someone's table and eat what they want? We never do that. We go to my sister-in-law's sometimes and but I always end up making our own Thanksgiving. Like my husband likes to have his own Thanksgiving at the house. So no matter if we're going to someone's house or not, I always end up making Thanksgiving. Um, that's it. That's all. So even when we'll end up going because when you go to someone's house, you can't eat how you want to eat at someone else's house. Okay, sushi. Okay, I figured that. You can't eat how you want to eat at somebody else's house. Ugh. But that's good though, because everybody doesn't need to overstuff their plates and all of that stuff. So it is very decadent eating for several days. But when I cook all of that, I we're eating till Sunday. Like that's it. That's it till Sunday. That's why I'm gonna be honest with you. That's why I don't even like to invite a bunch of people. Do you think that's counter counterproductive or counter the spirit of Thanksgiving, cuz I when I make all of that food, I kind of don't want to share because when folk want to take, you know, a whole meal home, I'm thinking to myself, this got to last till Sunday because I don't want to cook anymore. Or we're going to eat Chinese on Saturday or something. We'll be going out to dinner by Saturday. Um, who knows? We'll probably be sick of it by Sunday and go out to dinner, go get some seafood. You're eating cracked pepper turkey and garlic cheese sandwiches. Interesting. I've never cracked pepper cheese. Wait, cracked pepper turkey and garlic cheese. I did buy some Tillamook. Ugh, it's like an extra. I bought a two different sharp cheddars because I'm gonna make a little cheese platter. I got some cute crackers. I'm going to make my homemade cranberry. I'm gonna make like a little chutney. I got a recipe for cranberry. I've got plenty of cranberry to do cranberry sauce for dinner, but also a spicy cranberry with some jalapeno and stuff in it. For and cilantro. It's got like jalapeno, cilantro, chopped but cooked cranberry a little bit, and that will go on a cheese platter, so you can have that almost as like a hot jelly, like a spicy muy caliente, um, with cheese or salami or whatever. So yeah, so that's how I was raised, and my hubby would lose his mind if we don't have our own dinner. Oh my God, that's how we do. We have our own dinner, even if we're going to someone else's house for dinner. I will. I'm going to just be honest. I would feel weird not cooking my own Thanksgiving, and not. I would feel like did I miss something, or I would do it anyway. Um, Farah just oddly asked me for pumpkin pie all of a sudden. I'm just like, we don't typically do pumpkin pie, but I'm gonna try. Not to say I can't do it, I just typically don't. But Boo Boo asked for it, so I feel like I just want to buy her a pumpkin pie. And I'm seeing one right now for $5.98 at Sam's. And I rather than buying 3 cans of pumpkin puree and have to actually make it, since I'm making sweet potato cheesecake, let me just throw that pumpkin pie in my basket. And baby, I'll throw it in the oven and she should be good to go. I don't know. Patty LaBelle's, can I talk about patty pies for a second? I'm not superly duperly impressed with patty pies. I know that's probably not a popular thing to say. What does it say? Hey, bougie gang. My like is that he wants to be cook even we are going somewhere. Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's my husband. Yeah, that's my husband too. Um I'm not into patty pies. I'm not even into the sweet potato. It you know, it was a big, obviously it was a viral moment for Walmart when patty pies, when James Wright was like, "Oh, patty pies. Ooh, it's so good." Okay. That whole thing, I don't think it really made me sing unless James had never had a sweet potato pie before. I don't know why he went so crazy for it, but I still, you know what I'm saying? It just has too much allspice in it. And I'm more of a sweet potato pie girl. So very sweet, very creamy, very that carnation, the what's it called? The sweet condensed milk. That's what I want to taste. I want to taste that creaminess. I want to taste that hint of sweet condensed milk. I'm more about the cinnamon and the nutmeg. I don't that the spice, whatever it is that they use to season the flavor. I don't know. I'm not here for it. They say it's better if it's warmed up. I don't typically eat my sweet potato pie warm. I just eat it room temperature. You know, the pies at Sam's are huge. That's fine. Somebody might want some. It's okay. 5.98. You can't beat it. I could probably get a smaller pie. I don't know. It's fine. 5.98 will be all right. I have never had a patty pie. You're not missing anything. There's a reason. They're not horrible and they serve a purpose. So I'm not trying to bash Miss Patty's pies. It's just not for me. One of you guys, Mama J, asked about Susan Lorenz. Do you guys want to talk about that today? I was actually going to just make a freestanding video about it. Susan Lorenz wrote a letter. Susan is the lady who shot her neighbor. Susan is the very bad Fugazi lady that lived in the neighborhood full of kids that expected kids to not be kids and was mad because kids were playing in an open field that they were supposed to be okay playing in. But she basically terrorized the kids, and they recently have done a Netflix, I don't know if it was a documentary. I'm going to be honest, I didn't watch it because I did gavel to gavel Susan Lorenz coverage when her day in court happened around this time last year, and she was found guilty, um and took her behind to the women's penitentiary. But Ajika Owens is suing, and maybe she's trying to sue towards future earnings if she is to make a buck off of this situation. Maybe she's just trying to secure the bag. I'm sure she knows that Susan Lorenz is not going to make it out of jail. Susan Lorenz does not have any money. Susan Lorenz is absolutely indigent. Um, I don't know what the reason why they're suing the lady in prison who's broke, but I would imagine she's trying to make sure that they secure some sort of judgment against her in the event that maybe she tries to sell her story or something like that. That's the only thing I could think of. Anyway, they sent an interrogatory, which basically means that they sent some questions to be answered regarding things in the lawsuit. There were some questions in the lawsuit, and she responded back in writing, and it just gives Sarah Boone vibes. So it's kind of interesting. Then also yesterday, there was this yesterday? Where's the stamp on here? So you guys know what happened with Brene and Akira. Well, how about Brene she wants a new trial. Brene has a lawyer now, Miss Alienation of Affection, who got the judgment against her for $1.75 million. She wants a new trial. I heard the trial was absolutely ghetto. And I saw tidbits of it on Instagram. I saw her coming in and out of court. I saw it absolutely looking like a complete shit show. And but I don't know. I downloaded this and I haven't had a chance to read through it all the way yet, but it's 28 pages. Well, the initial filing is 9 pages. Okay, and then there's pages of exhibits. So I guess I'll read through this tonight. Maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow. But yeah, Brene and Akira are back. Brene said that she was not going to see any of the money that was awarded to her. So I don't know how she's gonna just say that, but That's what she says. The pies at Sam's are huge. I make a mean apple pie. Absolutely. I have never had a patty pie. Putting sweet potatoes in the oven as we speak. Oh my god. I just got 2 more bags of sweet potatoes. Yeah, it's going to be sweet potato central over here. I got to make a lot of sweet potatoes. I usually end up always with like 4 sweet potato pies. That's what I usually end up with. So that if that happens, I'll be fine. Um and then I'm going to make some cheesecake filling, and I'm going to make 2 as sweet potato cheesecake, and not sweet potato, but sweet potato pie with cheesecake on top. I don't know. I pour and then I put my sweet potato mix, and then I put cheesecake dead in the middle, and it was so good. My husband liked that one the best last year, and it turned out really good. It was kind of like a happy accident. So we're gonna do that again. But yeah, it's getting ready to be sweet potato central. Um, let's see. Oh, you're coming over to YouTube. Okay, baby. Okay, so you're okay. You're with me. Sweet potato and cheesecake is it's like a mean combination that it does not disappoint at all. It does not disappoint at all. It's such a good combination of flavors. I absolutely love it. Anyway, but yeah, I'm getting ready. I've been doing the shopping and getting mentally prepared for marathon day of cooking. I don't even You guys probably won't. You might hear from me. You might just like hear from me. But I'm sure I won't be sitting at my desk. I'll be in the kitchen. But if I can get a good start on tomorrow, like making some cornbread, all the prep stuff, making some cornbread, probably 2 big pans of cornbread. That's a huge help. Um, I don't really like, I don't know. I guess I make it hard on myself because I like food, and I don't want to make it sound like it's not fresh. I like my food fresh. Like, I like to make stuff, put it in the oven and eat it. I don't like to make stuff and prep it, put it in the refrigerator, that whole thing. I'm just not big on doing that. I would like to be able to have my turkey cleaned, seasoned, that in the refrigerator and ready to just pop in the oven at 6 o'clock, because that would be really nice to have that be ready to go. And I could do all that. I feel like the more I do Thanksgiving, the more efficient it becomes for me. So I feel like if I can get a good start tomorrow, not play around, not be tired, not be playing around in the kitchen, I could be at a good place tomorrow morning. So really all I have to do is throw that, girl, I was going to say throw that chicken, throw the turkey in the oven, and I will have already started my collard greens. I usually make my collard greens overnight, get them on the stove, get them going, and put them on low. And I don't sleep very much the night before, so I either might be in bed or I might be in the living room or something, and just, chillaxing, and just have it on low and let it cook overnight, and that'll be done. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like I have really kind of got my rhythm on what I cook, and I don't really try too many new things. I'm going to make like a cheese board because my mother-in-law is coming over, and we'll have some desserts and things like that, some wine. But I'm going to keep it super simple, so which I'm sure it's not simple, but for me, it's like the same meal I've cooked for like the last, I don't know, since we've been living together. I've been doing Thanksgiving. So the same Thanksgiving I've been doing for the past, what year is this? For like the past 16 years, I've been doing the same Thanksgiving. A turkey. We used to do ham. We don't do ham anymore. We don't eat pork. Well, I still eat pork. My husband doesn't eat pork, but it's not worth me buying like a honey baked ham. I didn't make the ham. I used to just buy a honey bake. And collard greens with turkey in it, macaroni and cheese, cornbread, cornbread stuffing. I'm gonna do like a corn thing. What else do I make? Why am I having like a brain freeze? My mother-in-law is bringing some potato salad and a salad, and that's it. I feel like I'm missing something. Keep my family around, passed away yesterday. I'm so sorry to hear that, Denise. I'm very sorry to hear that. It's just it's never a it's always too soon. I'm sorry to hear that, and sending condolences and love and prayers your way. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah. I lost my mom around this time. She actually, the anniversary was a couple of weeks ago. Um Actually, the day we had her funeral was November 12th, and she passed away like 2 days before my dad's birthday on November 7th. So yeah, I know this is awful. I know this is terrible. I use multiple roasters and slow cookers to do heavy lifting overnight, so I can have the oven free to bake other foods and stuff. I'm like trying to think what. Oh, sweet potato casserole. So sweet potato casserole, macaroni and cheese, collard greens with turkey, corn casserole. Which I want to look up a recipe and see if there's any different recipes for it. But I usually like kind of keep that simple. Um, just corn basically, you know what I mean? It's like corn with the cream corn, and some breadcrumbs like panko. Um, yeah, Denise, I mean, I'm so sorry. We don't know the circumstances, but you know, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, but I wish you the absolute best. It's a journey. When mom goes home to be with the Lord, it's definitely a long journey to get to, to get to a place where, things are like not hurting. She had stage 4 cancer. Okay. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, she was only 60 and never smoked. Wow. Like I said, it's going to be a time. It's going to be a little bit of time to, reflect It's a journey. That's all I can say. It took me a while to kind of get my head back on straight and for it to just seem normal that my mom wasn't alive anymore and my dad. It takes time, but it's, just stay I don't know, for me, trying to remember the good times is always, always helps. And hopefully you have a good support system within your family and you guys are supporting each other through this loss, tremendous loss. All right, let me see this really quick. You guys, last week, Mama J called up and she asked us about this letter. So I pulled it so we can read it. I don't know if this is going to happen or not. But she says it's coming soon. This lady wants to sue. Can you believe the estate of Ajika Owens? This lady is a piece of shit. And to think that she could pick up her pen to write something like this, knowing good and well that these kids have been orphaned. I don't know where their father is. I think there's a couple different dads, but at the end of the day, everybody was living at mom's house and mom is gone, and mom is only gone because of the hands of Susan Lorenz, and she ought to be ashamed of herself sending something like this. Um Now, the fact that the grandmother, Ajika Owens' mom, is suing the estate of Susan Lorenz, I don't really know. I need to read that complete lawsuit to understand why she's coming for her. I'll take a look at that tonight. Let me see what it says. Is this a wrongful death? I think they feel like let's see. All right, we'll take a look at that too. So they're suing. All right, let's take a look. Let's look at that first because I don't know why she's like what she's suing for. At all times, material defendant Charles Gephardt, Susan Lorenz. Okay, so this woman here, Pamela Diaz, is the grandmother of the children survived by Ajika Owens. So if you saw The Perfect Neighbor, this is what this is referring to. One of you guys, I can't remember what day it was, but one day last week, one of you guys called in and asked if we could take a look at this. Come now, the plaintiff, Pamela Diaz, the personal representative of the estate of Ajik Owens, deceased, and sues defendants Susan Lorenz and Charles Gephardt individually and as ground states as follows. This action is for damages that exceed $50,000, exclusive of interest and costs bought pursuant to the Florida Wrongful Death Act. So maybe this is a wrongful death suit. Venue is proper. Marion County, Florida, because all the actions giving a rise to the complaint occurred in Ocala. Marion County, Florida. Pamela Diaz is a resident of Marion County, Florida, and is duly appointed personal representative of the estate of Ajika Owens. So they call her AJ. Owens deceased. The true and correct copy of the letters and administration is attached to Exhibit A. The potential beneficiaries of recovery of this action and the relationship of each descendant are Isaac, minor son, Israel, minor son, Africa, minor daughter, Titus, minor son. All times, material hereto defendant Susan Lorenz was a resident of Marion County, Florida. If you are not familiar with this story, we did gavel to gavel of her trial where she was found guilty and she is in a women's correctional facility now. There's a playlist for it, and I will attach it to the description box and the first pinned comment. She's a nut job. I feel like she was a lady who lived by herself. I don't know what kind of outside interaction she had. She had a job, but she was very much someone who lived alone, and I think she had a little bit of mental illness, and she was very bothered by the noise of the neighborhood. And the noise, I mean, children playing, laughing, riding bikes, throwing balls, being kids. She was very bothered by these children and just their zest and happiness and enjoying life. And anytime those kids were out having a good time, it would be too loud, it would be too noisy, you're too close to my car, you're on my property, you threw a ball near my house, tell your mother to come talk to me. Just always some sort of bothering of the children. And it got to the point where, mom had to hear it one too many times along with other parents. But Ajika lived right across the street. So unfortunately, she bared the burden of the most exposure to Susan, and everything came to a head one day. Let me finish reading this. At all material hereto, defendant Susan Lorenz resided on the premises of defendants Charles Gepard's permission and consent. At all times, material hereto decedent Ajika Owens and the minor children lived across the street from the premise and were known by the defendants to be on and or near premises. On June 2nd, 2023, decedent Ajika Owens knocked on defendant Susan Lorenz's door to talk about an incident that involved decedent's children when defendant Susan Lorenz discharged a firearm through a closed door. At that time, the decedent Ajika Owens was fatally struck by a bullet discharging from the firearm and died. Prior to June 2nd, 2023, defendant Susan Lorenz contacted the Marion County Sheriff's Office with erroneous allegations of battery, assault, trespass, and theft against the decedent Ajika Owens and her children. On or about February 25th, 2022, the Marion County Sheriff's Office responded to a call from the defendant Susan Lorenz at the premises. At said date, the location, defendant Susan Lorenz alleged that decedent Ajika Owens and her children trespassed on the premises and that the decedent hit her with a no trespassing sign previously placed on the premises by the defendant Charles Gepard. On or about August 10th, 2022, Marion County Sheriff Office responded to a call from defendant Susan at the premises, and at said date, the location, Susan Lorenz alleged that decedent Ajika Owens and her children trespassed on the premises and that the children were playing loudly and the decedent yelled and screamed at her. On or about November 19th, Marion County Sheriff's Office responded to the defendant Susan Lorenz. At the time, the defendant Susan Lorenz alleged that decedent Ajika Owens stole her mail and that the children were throwing water bottles at her glass door. On or about December 22nd, 2022, Marion County Sheriff's Office responded to a call from the defendant Susan Lorenz at the premises, and said date and location, Susan Lorenz alleged that the decedent Ajika Owens threatened to beat her and that her children threatened to kill her. On or about April 25th, 2023, Marion County Sheriff's Office responded to a call from the defendant Susan Lorenz at the premises. At said date, location, defendant Susan Lorenz alleged that the decedent Ajika Owens attacked her, stole her mail, and that the children harassed her and attempted to put their dog in her truck. On or about May 22nd, 2023, defendant Susan Lorenz went to the Marion County Sheriff's Office and alleged that the decedent Ajika Owens attacked her, stole her mail, and that her children set fire to the no trespassing sign previously placed on the premises by defendant Charles Gepard. At all times, material hereto, defendant Charles Gebhardt had actual and constructive control of the premises and knowledge of the history of erroneous allegations made to the Marion County Sheriff's Office by the defendant, Susan Lorenz, against the defendant Ajika Owens and her children. Moreover, defendant Charles Gebhardt knew and or should have known that there was a propensity for gross neglect, conduct, and or intentional harm by the defendant Susan Lorenz, which unreasonably exposed the decedent Ajika Owens and her children to unreasonable, dangerous conditions on the premises, which was likely to cause harm. Plaintiff Pamela Diaz, as the personal representative for the estate of Ajika Owens, re-alleges and incorporates by reference for all those facts and alleges in paragraphs 1 through 23 above as if fully stated herein. As a result, defendant Susan Lorenz discharged the firearm through the closed doors and as described in paragraphs 8 and 9, and decedent Ajika Owens suffered bodily injury and caused death. As a direct and proximate result of defendant Susan Lorenz's gross negligence and intentional harm, the defendant Susan Lorenz is liable to the estate of Ajika Owens and survivors and beneficiaries under Florida wrongful death statute. Specifically, the decedent's estate, beneficiaries, and survivors have suffered and will continue to suffer damages into the future. The past and future mental pain and suffering of the decedent's minor children, Isaac, Israel, Africa, and Titus, expenses of medical care and funeral arrangements arising from the injury of the death of Ajika Owens, loss of decedent's prospective net accumulations, loss of inheritable estate, and any and all other damages as specific to Florida statute. Wherefore, plaintiff Pamela L. Diaz, as the personal representative for the state of Ajika Owens, demands judgment against defendant Susan Lorenz for damages exclusive of attorney fees, costs, interest, and other relief as the court deems appropriate, and requests a trial by a jury as to the triable issues. Pamela Diaz, as the personal representative of Ajika Owens, realleges and incorporates the paragraphs 1 through 22 at all times material to the decedent lived across the street, at all times material to defendant Charles Gebhardt actually constructive control and owed a duty to the decedent Ajika Owens to refrain from gross negligence and intentional harm, and to warn of known conditions, to wit, the extensive history of erroneous allegations made to the Marion County Sheriff's Office by defendant Susan Lorenz against the decedent and her children on or about. So does this like repeat the whole thing as a direct approximate? So this is, I guess this is the part that Charles, on or about June 2nd, the defendant Charles Gebhardt was neglect in failing to refrain from gross negligence and intentional harm caused by Susan Lorenz. As direct and proximate result, the defendant Charles Gebhardt negligence, the defendant Charles Gebhardt is liable to the estate of Ajika Owens and its survivors and beneficiaries under Florida wrongful death statute pursuant to Florida statute, specifically the decedent's estate, beneficiaries, survivors, and have suffered and will continue to suffer past and future mental pain and suffering of the decedent's minor children, expenses of medical care, funeral arrangements, loss of prospective net accumulations, inheritable estate, and any and all other damages. Okay. So it basically kind of repeats itself a little bit, but basically she's suing both, and it's a wrongful death. Susan then comes back and responds. I haven't read Charles' response yet, but I think it was filed by an attorney and it was extremely short. This is what Susan had to say. Do you see this handwriting? Does this not look like a Sarah Boone letter? And look what it says, legal mail. It says legal mail, guys. Legal mail received. Okay. This is Susan Lorenz's letter back in response to general allegations. Ajika Owens and her children were trespassing. She's sticking to her story. She's not remorseful. She is standing on business, and she says that they were trespassing. There were multiple no trespassing signs on the property. Miss Owens did in fact scream, threaten to beat me multiple times while trespassing. Miss Owens was instructed to stay off the property along with her children. She put multiple and then struck through it. Along with her children by the county sheriff's department. At no time did I file erroneous allegations. Ms. Diaz was not present and in another state until Ajika died. Ms. Owens did not knock politely and speak reasonably on June 2nd, 2023. She pounded and screamed profanities like a lunatic. Ms. Owens' children had lied to her and stated I hit Israel Owens with a roller skate. During his encounter with the prosecutors, Buxman and Smith, Israel Owens recanted that the roller skate hit him and only came near him. Assault and battery charges were dropped. In depositions, all the children told different stories about their location at the time of the shooting. Israel Owens was over 60 feet away at the mailboxes. The female juvenile who testified at the trial stated she was an eyewitness to Ajika Owens throwing a metal sign and seeing said sign strike me in the leg. I was 7 weeks post-operative for a neck fusion. Urias Bael testified in his deposition that Miss Owens would come onto my sidewalk by the patio and threaten to fight me. He testified she was trying to scare me so that I would stop calling Marion County sheriffs. In Isaac Williams, I don't know what that says. In Isaac Williams and Uriel Baez depositions. Oh, in Isaac Williams and Uriel Baez's depositions, Israel Owens. Israel Williams and Uriel Baez deposition. Israel Owens and his sister Africa Williams would come over to my apartment and do ding dong ditch, which is when the children knock on your door and run away. Isaac also testifies that Israel struck Ms. Lorenz with a water bottle in his deposition. The fact that Ms. Diaz is now asking for money goes directly against her saying no for the family in the sentencing paperwork. I now wish to countersue for slander, libel, and defamation of character for damages exceeding $50,000. Ms. Diaz, Isaac Williams, Israel Owens, Africa Williams, individually. Did she get all the kids? Isaac, Israel, Africa. I feel like there was another child. And Charles Gephardt for not securing the property correctly and allowing Miss Owens and her children for harassment, physical threats of harm, and mental duress. Completion of fact and expert discovery to follow. Copy sent to Anthony D. Thomas, Esquire. She's a nut job. So, Mama J, you asked me to read that. There you go. I don't know if you'd seen that or not, but it's absolutely insane. it's insanity. It's just insane. Um, I don't know why Ms. Diaz, Ajika Owens' mom is suing Susan Lorenz. I don't know if she feels like maybe um, Susan has some money to the side or could potentially benefit from something because of Ajika's death. I'm not really sure, but I don't blame her making sure that she secures whatever she can as the fiduciary responsible for her daughter's estate. It makes sense. I mean, and she can do that if she wants to. You know what I mean? Like that is her right. And just because you file a lawsuit doesn't mean that you're going to win the lawsuit. And also, just because you file a lawsuit and may even win a settlement, that lady is damn indigent. So it really, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's not worth anything, but I'm just saying this. That lady doesn't have any money. So, and she's in jail for like 25 years. And the woman is damn near, maybe she's 60, she's 60 something. She's not, I mean, if she walks out at 80 something, good for her, but I don't think she's going to have a coin. And I think it's probably more like a legal maneuver just to have some sort of judgment on her or against her in the event that she is to come across some money at some point. But basically, I don't know that I would just be worried about doing my time. But, I'm sure Miss Owens, or rather Miss Diaz, is probably still very much distraught. She lost her daughter, and Susan Lorenz is very mouthy, and there's no love lost between them, and it is what it is. I think Susan Lorenz is a nut job. Really? And what did you come up with, Georgia Peach? What did it say? It said, "Don't do it." Hold on one second. Let me call your boy. I'm like, if you don't be quiet, where's Ben Crump? I don't know. He was with them on the day of the decision. I almost feel like, well, so again, keep in mind, Ajika's mom is suing, so she got this ball rolling. Okay. Susan is just answering. And just because she says she wants to countersue doesn't necessarily mean that the judge is going to allow that, right? They could say you don't have any grounds. She said she wants to countersue, but she hasn't filed a countersuit. That's number one. So, number one, she's just saying it. Number two, she could file a countersuit and the judge could say there's no grounds for that. Like, girl, you're high. You know what I mean? Like, she might not necessarily it might not necessarily fly that the countersuit would even be considered, right? Then if that gets denied and let's say the wrongful death suit is it plays out and she gets a settlement, then Susan Lorenz can sue if she wants to. She's just going to be getting herself deeper in the hole. The bottom line is, and this is just my opinion, ma'am, you're sitting in jail for second-degree murder. You got 25-year sentence. Tons of people came to talk and testify against your behavior. This lady has a very fragile mental state. I'm not saying she's a total whack job, but this lady is not 100%, and her reality may not really be, it's not anybody's reality. This lady is living in an alternate reality, and she's, like I said, she's very fragile woman mentally, and I don't think anybody is going to take her seriously. You know what I mean? So the fact that she filed this doesn't really surprise me. The fact that she has Sarah Boone handwriting doesn't surprise me. She's got that same crazy damn penmanship as her girl Sarah. I don't know if they're at the same place or not. Where is she located? Let me see. Susan is over there in, girl, she's in Florida City, Florida. She's at the Homestead Correctional Institute. Let's see where that is. She's at the Homestead Correctional Institute for crazy ladies. Hold on. Ew. It looks like a park ranger station. Look at that. I wonder, do they get air conditioning in there? Are there more pictures? All right, let's go. Let's look her up on Florida Department of Corrections. She doesn't have anything better to do. Okay. Jesus. Jesus. Susan, would you go somewhere? Baby. Okay, so she is she was born in 1964. Help us, Lord. Help us. Okay. Her current release date is girl 2048. Baby, if you don't go and have several seats, ma'am, you have a long time to do. Would you leave people alone? Could you please leave people alone and stop bothering people? Leave Miss Diaz alone. Okay? Homicide, manslaughter, ass. 25 years. Okay? Can you please stop bothering people? Girl. Okay, hold on a second. Let me find Sarah. Why we may as well just look up Sarah. Girl, I cannot wait to look up Sakina Thompson when she gets in there. She'll be getting sentenced. What's today's date? Hold on. Her sentencing is next week, y'all. Hold on. Ooh, next Monday. Anybody who is in the Tamarack area, if you don't have anything to do at 1:30 on Monday, please hit me up. Hit me up because we need you to show up and be a witness so we can get the tea firsthand, please. All right, let's look up Sada. I feel like I've looked up Sada before, but okay, here we go. Jesus. This chick. Oh, she's at Lowell. I wonder if Lowell is more intense. I guess maybe they have lifers there. She's sentenced to life. Look at that. Look at that. Current release date, life. Sad, right? Mm-mm-mm. Sentenced to life. Second degree. This chick was offered 15 years. She was offered 15 years. She didn't take it. And baby, she got a life sentence. She needed to just get the life sentence based on just being dumb. They offered you 15 years and you'd already been sitting in there for what, 5, 6 years, 7 years, however. She was in there for a long time. 2020. She was in there from 2020. You already had 4 years in. They offered her 15. And this weirdo decided to roll the dice, and now she has dumb, very dumb. Let's see. Susan Lorenz was born in 1964. Hold on. Let's do some math. Let me get my calculator. 2048 minus 1964. Oh, that's wrong. Okay. I was like, what did I do? Okay, 2048 minus 1964. Boom. Girl, Susan will be 84 years old if she makes it out. She already looks like she's about 84, doesn't she? No offense to my octogenarians out here, but girl, she's already looking like she could be a cool 84, something like that, doesn't she? Susan, would you leave Miss Ajika Owens' family alone? Those kids have enough to deal with after oh no, I wasn't looking for her current age. I was just looking for what age would she be around her potential release. Um 84 years old. Girl, Susan, leave people alone. That's all I have to say. It's not going to be good for you. People really support. I think they collected almost half. Like, girl, let me see. I feel like there is a Ajika Owens, Ajika, Ajika Owens GoFundMe. I feel like I saw it and it was a lot. Okay. They're gonna be fine. They're looking to raise $1 million, baby. They've got $649,000 cash. I don't even know if they have to pay taxes on that. So the fact that they I'll drop the link too, just in case anybody would like, it's the holidays. You want to put a little something in there for the children. They lost their very young mother. Mom wasn't doing anything that any of us wouldn't be doing. Like, bitch, can I help you? Are you yelling at my kid? Like, what's your problem? You want to yell at someone? Come talk to me. She wasn't doing anything that anybody else wouldn't have been doing. Look at these sweet babies. No mom right now. Look at the pretty little girl. Okay. Um On Friday, June 2nd, Ajika Owens, a devoted and loving mother of 4 who tragically and unjustifiably murdered in an attempt to protect her children from racism and violence, her mother is now left to raise her grandchildren. AJ's story is chronicled in the Netflix documentary The Perfect Neighbor. Ajika's children were playing in a field next to an Ocala apartment complex when an unidentified 58-year-old white woman reportedly began yelling at them and calling them racial slurs. The children left accidentally. The children left, but accidentally left. This is what it says. Uh, oh, the children left, but accidentally maybe left behind an iPad which the woman took. When one of the children went to her residence to retrieve it, she threw it, bitch, hitting the boy and cracking the screen. After Ajika's children informed her of what happened, she went across the street. She walked across the street to the with her kids to speak with the woman. She knocked on the door. At that point, the woman allegedly shot through the door. Oh, so she skipped a lot, but I guess this is basically what happened. She knocked at the door, and at that point, the woman allegedly, it was not even allegedly, it's been confirmed. We know there was a bullet through the door and she killed her. The woman shot through the door, hitting Ajika, who later died from her injuries. The woman responsible has not yet been identified, arrested, or charged in anything by law enforcement. So this predates, okay? This predates Susan Lorenz being arrested. So this is not necessarily up to date, but this is the GoFundMe for Miss Ajika Owens' Miss Ajika Owens' children, run by her mother, Miss Pamela Diaz. And there she is. These poor kids. Oh. That might have even been Susan's house right there. Look at that. If you guys watch the trial, you guys already know this. The driveway, AJ's driveway, and those mailboxes, right beyond those mailboxes where that tree is, there's kind of like a little fenced enclosure. That's Susan's enclosure right there. It's kind of like a patioed in front door. That's actually Susan's house. I don't know if you can see my arrow right here, but it's right behind that tree. Girl, she definitely looks a hot mess. And that's it. That's all. Anyway, yeah. Okay. Y'all, you know what? Let me pull this up really quick because I wanted to talk to you guys about this. You guys, did you guys hear about the lady who got scammed? She thought she was in a relationship with Shamar Moore. Did you hear about that? She thought she was in a relationship with Shamar Moore. She said you could not tell her that Shamar Moore was not her man. And she was writing a bunch of checks. And y'all, I just want you to see this news story. When I read the comments, you guys are going to just be nice. Be nice, okay? She thought this guy reached out to her. It was like a scam. But she thought she said you could not tell her that Shamar Moore was not her man. Okay, just keep an open mind, okay?
Not guilty on all counts for the local woman who believed that she was in a relationship with a Hollywood star, but ended up arrested and charged in the scam.
So Dana Kiner believes she was in love with an actor who had roles in shows like Criminal Minds and The Young and the Restless. WLWT News 5's Brian Hamrick was the only reporter in the courtroom for the trial. So Brian, you talked with Kiner after this verdict.
Yeah, Chris, she told me she was embarrassed by all this, getting caught up in this scam. But like the cop shows that she watched, it all seemed very real. Today, the jury had to determine if she was a criminal or a victim.
He was a rich movie star. He was, he was my man.
Dana Kiner on trial after she says she fell in love with a TV star. It turns out it was really just a bad actor in a diabolical role. Kiner was conned into a scam that had her facing 5 criminal charges until this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have reached a verdict. We, the jury, find the defendant, Dana Kiner, not guilty of forgery. Count 3. We, the jury, find the defendant, Dana Kiner, not guilty of forgery.
Not guilty on all counts. Kiner.
Y'all, she found herself some good lawyers, okay? Look at her lawyers, girl. She found herself 2 female attorneys. And baby, look at them hugging her. They must really have supported her because baby, they are hugging right now. She could have really gone to jail behind this. He had her writing all kinds of checks, depositing them into his account, into her account, withdrawing the cash, that scam, and handing this clown the money or cash apping or something. And of course, he went ghost. And she really thought that that was damn Shamar Moore. It's like, lady, you knew that wasn't no Shamar Moore. Okay, Sydney Stocks, thank you. Thank you, boo. Thank you for supporting, hun. Ooh. Okay, my bad.
Thought she was in a relationship with TV actor Shamar Moore, who played roles in Criminal Minds, The Young and the Restless, SWAT.
I just fell in love with somebody I thought was Shamar Moore, and turns out it wasn't, but I fell hard.
We caught up with Kiner, who
You
said,
fell hard with what? An email? You fell hard for somebody asking you to send them money and deposit checks into your account? I've known my husband for a long time. I don't know that I have ever deposited a check in my account for him ever. He's never given me anything to deposit. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is it that these people fall in love with these people and they got you doing cartwheels, flips, running marathons, and all kinds of shit? I just don't get it.
she believed things she
Well,
probably
we already
shouldn't
know
have.
that.
But there was
Shamar
a
Moore
reason.
doesn't need her
Off of
money.
marriage, like I'm 54, and nobody wants to grow old alone. So basically, I was just looking for love, and
Girl, I don't know what you were looking for, but that wasn't love. If you were looking for love, that wasn't it.
got duped.
The scammer got Kiner to write checks to her bank and take out cash before the checks bounced. She sent gift cards to the scammer, close $7,000 in all.
How easy is it to believe?
It was very easy. I mean, this person had a lot of Mr. Moore's information.
She fell for Shamar Moore.
How do you know what Shamar Moore's information is? How do you know that what he had, Shamar Moore isn't like when Shirley Strawberry was like, no, that's not my email. No, that's not my phone number. No, that's not my job title. No, that's not my boss's name. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't even the correct information. How do you know you had Shamar Moore's information? Did you talk to Shamar?
Moore, known for Criminal Minds, just like those using his name in a scam. Yeah, now even though she's not guilty on all those charges, she still has to pay bank back for the bounced checks, several $1,000s worth. Reporting live, Brian Hamrick, WLWT News 5.
I bet you her credit is fucked. Okay. Her credit is messed up. Look at hold on a second. I don't know if this is the same report or not, but he filed a different report. But I just want you to see this lady. The newscaster lady is hold on. There's been some dumb stuff going on lately, guys. Okay. This might be the same thing, but let's just see. Hold on.
On WLWT, not guilty on all counts for
Look
the
at all
woman
that
who
hair.
fell in love with a TV star and ended up getting scammed.
Yeah, so Dana Kiner believed that she was in a relationship with an actor who had big roles on shows like Criminal Minds and The Young and the Restless. Our WLWT News host Brian Hamrick was the only reporter.
Why does Brian look like Michael J. Fox? Can you tell me?
In the courtroom for the trial for you. And Brian, I know you talked with her after she was acquitted. What did she have to say?
Yeah, Cherie, well, she says she's embarrassed by this whole thing, but
as she should be, Brian. She should be. I wish she would call in. If I ever wanted to get in contact with somebody, I would love to talk to this woman. I did look her up on Facebook and I was tempted to send her a note. Like, ma'am, what happened, sis? Like, can you explain to us tell us when you realized it wasn't Shamar? Okay. I'm so tempted to reach out to her because I mean, especially since she was acquitted, she should feel She should be ready to tell her story.
Also says
I
that
need to
she
hear it.
believed she was in a real relationship with this TV actor.
Did he FaceTime you?
She was found not guilty on all 5 counts. Here was her reaction as the last count was read.
We, the jury, find the defendant Dana Kiner not guilty of theft as charged in count 5 of the indictment. Ladies and gentlemen, is that your verdict? All right. On behalf of the state, would you like the jury polled?
No, Your Honor.
Girl, you are lucky. You better stay your ass out of trouble. Stay off the internet. And keep that blonde rinse. The blonde is really, whoever did her blonde, they did that. I think they did a good job. I'm sure somebody who's a hairstylist is probably going, it's over process. I don't know. It looks good to me. It looks very well done.
Dana Kiner was charged with fraud and theft. She said it all began when she joined the fan page of Shamar Moore, the actor with roles in Criminal Minds, A Young and the Restless, SWAT, but an imposter posing as Moore got her information and scammed her. He convinced her to write bad checks and cash them, then send gift cards with the money to him. I caught up with Kiner moments after she was found not guilty and asked her how this could even happen.
I just fell in love with somebody I thought was Shamar Moore.
I saw a scam where a girl thought she was dealing with Chris Brown. It was the same thing. It was like this. I have to find it. You guys are going to be like, get the fuck out of here. No way was Chris Brown asking someone to mail them checks and cash it and stuff like that. It was like the same scam. This woman thought she was dealing with Chris Brown. She thought it was Chris Brown. Hold on. What does this text message say? How much is on your Cash App now? So that's what Shamar Moore would be saying to you. $9.70. Okay. And then he sends his Cash App. Some people don't need to have $1 in their account. How much is on your Cash App now? She says $9.70. He says, okay. And he sends her a note, Mr. Shawboy. Send the $9.70 to this tag. Let me know once you've sent it, honey. Okay, give me a second, Mr. Bossy. LOL, is that a new name for your husband? Yes, it fits you so well, baby. Girl, she was prime. You said textbook? You saw the Chris Brown one? Wasn't that funny? Oh my God. I could not believe that she actually thought, didn't she go to a concert? You guys, if I can find the story, I'll have to play it for you guys because she said it was like funny because she said, and then I started to get suspicious. So she bought tickets to the Chris Brown concert. So she was trying to see if that was him.
Send gift cards with the money to him. I caught up with Kiner moments after she was found not guilty and asked her how this could even happen.
I just fell in love with somebody I thought.
Fall in love with your bank balance. Fall in love with your investment portfolio. Fall in love with staying out of legal trouble. Fall in love with a man who doesn't ask you for $1. He wants to spend time with you. He's not asking you for a thing. Fall in love with that. Don't fall in love with someone bossing you to send your last $1,000 out your Cash App. Are you kidding?
With Shamar Moore.
That's not love.
Turns out it wasn't, but I fell hard and it blinded me. You know?
You thought
Correct.
it was this TV actor you've seen so many times.
Yes. And I was a huge fan of.
Yeah, now Kiner still has to pay back $6,000 or $7,000 in money for these bounce checks. Reporting live, Brian Hamrick, WLWT News 5.
I wish we could have seen that case because I guarantee you he got more money from that, more money than that from her. Because if that's one thing she did, what about what about anything else? You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure if she had any money in her savings, he took that too. So, anywho, um, okay. I mean, there are so yes, I do, that is valid. There are people who meet people online and have been quite successful in having real relationships. So I don't want to throw out meeting someone virtual, but it has to turn into something. It can't stay eternally virtual and also be financially abusive. I mean, that's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? It can't be the one-sided type of thing. Anyway, all right, you guys, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm gonna try and come back a little bit later, see what's going on. So make sure to hit the thumbs up for me, please. Oh wait, did they do another one? Wait, is it gonna be Michael J. Fox again? I can't get enough of this lady being in court, you guys. I just cannot. Can you just, if you're going to show this much of her, she's a nice looking woman. And her little pixie is, I think it's so cute. If they're going to show this much of court, why not just show the whole damn thing? It just bothers me when they,
Because I was his girlfriend at the time and we were planning to get married.
It's a courtroom drama with deep emotion, Hollywood connections,
That's more.
and a strange plot twist where the main actor is love.
He was my man. You know, I loved him.
Dana Kiner on trial for forgery and theft, but jurors are left to determine if she's a criminal or a victim in an elaborate scheme.
Did it ever cross your mind, Dana, when this was going on, that you were doing something that was illegal?
No, ma'am.
On the stand, Kiner said it all began when she joined the fan page of Shamar Moore, the actor in SWAT, The Young and the Restless, and Criminal Minds. Soon, she got a friend request on social media from someone claiming to be Moore. It wasn't him. She says in a few months of constant texting, the imposter convinced her she and Moore were in love.
Does that sound kind of crazy?
In hindsight, it does. But when you're in love, like they said, love is blind. You wear rose-colored glasses or whatever. At the time, I was just so in love.
The scammer got Kiner to draft checks, deposit them, and take the cash before they bounced, almost $7,000 in all. She was instructed to buy gift cards and send them to the person she thought was Moore.
And you believed him?
I did.
But it was all a show of deception.
I wouldn't be surprised if Nesto would do, like, this sounds like a Nesto type con.
Where Shamar Moore was never involved. Neither was any other actor, except the one running the scam.
Ooh. Wow. And then the next video is Latasha Daniels. Messy. YouTube, you so messy. YouTube is messy. And then they put on Latasha Daniels right afterwards. Okay, girl. Okay, you guys. I'll see you guys a little bit later. I just wanted to touch base with y'all. We'll get back and caught up on some more stuff. Okay. You guys have a good afternoon. Make sure to hit the thumbs up for me. It is very much appreciated. And I will see you guys a little bit later. Bye, guys.